Hello, welcome back to my kitchen. I'm so glad you're here. My name's Tamara. If you haven't met me before, I'm glad you're in my kitchen, and today I am making granola. Homemade granola is so easy. Only a few ingredients, no extras, no preservatives, no artificial flavors, and no bad oils. So we're going to use coconut oil for this, and it's going to give it just a little bit of that coconut flavor. And just some dried fruit, some nuts, and some whole rolled oats. So you don't want the quick oats, you want the old-fashioned oats for this. So let's get started. And I want to say too that I want to thank Miss Patsy from church. Thank you so much, my friend Patsy, for giving me this recipe. I appreciate her so much. She's one of my biggest fans and I love her very much. So I hope that if you watch this, Miss Patsy, you will let me know and drop me a comment. All right, let's get started with our granola. Okay, we're going to get started by measuring out the dry ingredients. So first of all, we're going to start with 4 cups of old-fashioned oats. And I'm going to get to my measure cup. And we'll go ahead and measure that into a large bowl. Okay, next will be 1.5 cups of nuts. And I'm going to use walnuts and pecans, and I'm not really going to chop them up. I want them whole. So I'm going to use about half and half. So there's about 3/4 cups of pecans. And if you want to chop these, kind of a rough chop, the walnuts are a little bit chopped a little bit more. So, and you can use more. I like a lot of nuts in there. Next, you're going to add some dried fruit, and I'm going to use dried mixed berries. I get this at Aldi, and it is cranberries, cherries, and blueberries. You're going to use about 1/2 cup of dried fruit. Some people don't like the dried fruit. That's okay, you can leave that out. It does get a little bit harder in the oven when you bake it. So you want to be careful with that. You want a teaspoon of cinnamon. Pour it into the spoon. There we go. And sprinkle that around. You want a 1/2 teaspoon of salt. You can use sea salt. All I have today is just regular table salt. So I'm just going to sprinkle that in, a 1/2 teaspoon. We're going to take a wooden spoon, mix that all together. Okay, now we're going to mix the wet ingredients in. Okay, we want a 1/2 cup of honey or maple syrup. And I prefer the taste of the honey. So I'm going to use honey. I'm going to pour that into the bowl, replace my lid. And a 1/2 cup of coconut oil, and it's a little bit melted, so it's going to be easy to add that today. If it was a colder day and my house was cooler, it would be solidified, but it's a little bit liquidy, so I'm going to be able to mix that really easily. Okay, now a teaspoon of vanilla. Here we go. Once we get that mix, we're going to add it to the bowl of oats. And I want to say we should go ahead and get the oven preheated. Get rid of my dirty measuring tools. Okay, now I'm going to add my oil and honey mixture. Just drizzle that over the top of your oats, and then we're going to mix that really well. Oops. Make sure you scrape all that out of the bowl. Got some honey down there in the bottom. Get all that out. We're going to line a baking sheet with parchment paper. Be easy cleanup. So I love granola on vanilla yogurt. So school started for me, and that would be an easy little breakfast, throw in my lunchbox, and have it when I have a little break in the morning. I'm one of those that does not like to eat early. So that if I can get a time around 9 or 10 o'clock to eat, that would be perfect. Okay, we're ready to get this in the oven. Okay, I want to give you guys a tip on parchment paper, and you may already know this. I just learned this not too long ago. It's going to roll up. Crumple it up, and then stretch it back out. And it's going to fit your tray without rolling up. Now look at that. Okay, let's pour the granola onto this parchment paper. And spread it out. I want to say you're going to put this in a 350-degree oven for about 20-25 minutes. But I'm going to say, 2, it will burn easily. You want to stir it often. So what I'm going to do is set my alarm to stir it around so it doesn't burn about every 5 to 7 minutes during that cooking time. Okay, I'm going to just pull out the rack carefully and take my wooden spoon and just move it around. Move it all around. You can see on the edges it's getting browner. Ooh, you can smell the coconut oil. It burns fast, so you want to keep a good eye on it. Okay, carefully push it back in. All right, let's get it out of the oven. It's nice and golden brown, and it's been in about 25 minutes. Gonna stir it up and let it cool completely before you try to do anything with it. Okay, it's completely cooled. So I'm going to add it to a mason jar and just put a lid on it, store it in the cabinet. I have some little small individual serving cups that I can make up and have it ready to go with my little cups of yogurt. Just take what's left on the parchment paper and see if I can transfer it easily to the jar. And there you go. I have a couple of plastic lids that will go on these mason jars, and they're perfect for storing in the cabinet.